Hey, the feds found Snoop Dogg in the new Keefe documents during the trial this week. This is the reason why Suge Knight had been so quiet, not to actually speak too much about it, because he knows that he's going to be ended up in the indictment. Keefe he's telling on everybody now. He hit the fan, everything. He looking at only like for himself at this point, because when the feds talked to him, Greg Kading and them, the new investigators for the Tupac came back and said that they found the witnesses, they found the footage showing exactly what happened, whose arm stuck out the window and everything. This is the reason why they have Keefe going in and out of court, going in the trial. The DA and the judge, they're trying to set an example for getting the justice for Tupac, because they know Keefe was the main one that was talking with Pdiddy and he orchestrated the whole entire thing. They already proved that. Now they're trying to actually get the mastermind of it, the guy who sent the money and everything. They know for a fact that they got one shot at getting Pdiddy to get the justice for Tupac, and they're going to make sure that they come the right way. The feds, they wait until they have a 99% success rate. This is why Pdiddy, he changed his name back to Puffy. He don't even go by Pdiddy no more, because he knows the RICO is coming after him. Pdiddy was the name that was written in Keefe's book when he said that he's the guy that gave him the money to take Tupac out. They should have never exposed that, because now that information leaked and the investigators found out. The grand jury read the book. This is why the indictments came so soon. This is why everything got done without publicizing it so quick. So that way, Diddy didn't get a chance to be on the run. Keefe couldn't have been on a chance to like leave the country or nothing like that. So they were watching everybody closely the whole entire summer. As soon as they raided Keefe, they knew they had the shell casings. They had a lot more evidence that he was hiding out in his garage and everything like that. So what they did was they went ahead and pulled the plug on that to make sure that he actually gets in custody, so that they could ask him more questions, because they know that he's the Keefe is the guy that's going to lead him directly to P. Diddy and directly to that $1 million check. He knows where the evidence is. He knows where they hid that and they stashed it. It's a lot of stash spots out there. It was a lot of people who was seeing exactly what they was talking about. Keefe he was telling the secrets to the whole hood. He was telling everybody how he did it and they got away with it, and that no one was going to stop him and everything. The karma came back to bite them, and it came back to get them, because Tupac, he's looking down. He's laughing now that they're getting hit with this RICO. He's laughing about the fact that P. Diddy, he's not going to be able to get away with this, and the greed and the envy, all of that Keefe had, it exposed them to make him actually tell what happened. And he went ahead and snitched on everybody that was in that whole entire Tupac scene, man. Everything from the people that was inside that white Cadillac, the people that was at the MGM Grand. He told them about who all was there around Orlando when Orlando got stomped out. He told them about what Tupac did and what they were saying to each other. He even told them about the chain snatching. And then after that, he said, they asked him, so who all went and chased after Tupac in the car? Keefe said that him, Orlando, Big Dre, and the other dude driving, they were the ones who actually all got into the car, and they purposely followed Suge Knight's BMW, because they knew that Tupac was in there. And then that's when they told the girls in the drop top Sebring, the Chrysler Sebring, to go up, and they're like, hey, that's Tupac, that's the famous rapper Tupac, go say hi to him. Then that's when they pull up, and that was enough time for them to be distracted, because the window was already down. So they quickly pulled up right behind the girls as soon as they said hi to Tupac, and they got Tupac to stick his head out the window and stick his hands out the window to wave at them. This is the opportunity that Keefe said that they had, the one moment. That's when he started passing the strap backwards to the back seat, and in the back seat was Orlando and the other dude, and they saying that it was one of them that did it. But the thing is Keefe told the story saying that it was his nephew Orlando that did it and everything like that. But the reports, the ballistics, the forensics, it's all coming back to say that it couldn't have been the guy sitting behind Keefe. It had to have been the guy sitting behind the driver. And this is where everything got all confused, because this is why that it stumped the investigators for the 27 years. They didn't know exactly if Keefe was telling the right thing in the story. That he said it was his nephew, but the whole ballistics and the evidence, the forensics reports, it comes back saying that it could have been a different guy. The witnesses said they seen a different arm sticking looking out the window. They took pictures of Keefe D's hands, arms. They took the pictures of everybody's arms in the autopsy, and they tried to compare it to the witness testimony, and they really couldn't get the match. They couldn't get the answer. But the witness came back after all the years because the footage was released from that stoplight that was right there. The traffic cameras, everything around there. It was the late 90s, so it wasn't cameras everywhere, but the ones that were, it was grainy footage. It was blurry. You got to remember that it was dark that night and everything when Tupac and them was at that stoplight of Flamingo and Caval. And so whatever the camera seen, it wasn't that clear. But now they actually used the advancements to clear up the picture, and they seen Tupac inside the BMW. They zoomed in. They actually saw Keefe D. Keefe D was pointing, telling the dude to get Tupac right now. And it was like 3, 2, 1, and then everything went. This is the moment that they've been waiting for, because they have the exact footage and the evidence that's going to lead them to find out exactly who's responsible and who's the main person that actually did this to Tupac, the hitman and the getaway driver. Because after the whole hit was done, they sped off and they got in a chase with a whole nother group of people that was actually right behind Tupac, driving behind him. Those guys couldn't do anything quick enough to actually like stop them in that first place, but they tried to chase after them and everything like that so they could try to find out exactly who it was, who the plates come back to. They tried to look at the people inside the car. They knew that it was somebody that looked like Keefe D, but they didn't want to say it because everything was like, man, they didn't want to have to be in the heat of the moment and in trouble for anything. They didn't want to have to come back and take the stand and testify. They didn't want to be known as the people who actually ratted out Keefe D and them. So eventually he ratted himself out because he wrote the books. He went on the interviews. He was trying to get a lot of clout out saying that he was the guy that was at the Tupac scene, that him and his crew did it and everything like that. But it's nothing to brag about because the whole case was still wide open. And so the feds, they were there sitting and rubbing their hands, licking their chops, because they knew that they were getting a confession out of Keefe D. This is what set this whole thing back off into a spin, and that they came back around in 2023 and raided his garage because they knew that if he was hiding the book, the information, and all these different things he was bragging about online, he was bragging online about how he had certain little things, the shell casings. He still had the same strap and everything. That he even told them that they hid the strap on the wheel well of the car, and they went and parked the car somewhere, and then when they came back out, it was gone. That means somebody had to come and grab that off the wheel well. How was somebody who would have known that they actually put the same strap that they used to take out Tupac underneath the car tire? So that means they had somebody that they told to come to their parking spot and get that from them, because they didn't want to be seen outside in case people were watching. So what they did was they either called Von Zip, they had to call somebody else. So this is what the whole feds is looking for. They're trying to find out exactly who Keefe D was talking to on the phone right after that happened, and how did the whole mystery strap disappear, because they had the blinky with them. He never said how he got rid of it, other than that he put it on the tire, and that when he came back outside, it was gone. That means somebody that knew where it was. He told them where it was. They had this as a whole plan. This wasn't just a fly on the moment and just improv in the whole thing. They actually sat there and planned how they was going to do it. And one of the main things was that after they drive off and they lose the people and they get away from the Tupac scene, they were supposed to park the car and put the blinky on top of the tire. Somebody was supposed to be in on it, and they actually came and retrieved that and brought it back to Von Zip, because remember, Keefe D confessed and he said that Von Zip, he's the one that gave them the blicky in the first place. So they took that blicky and they used it and put it back on the wheel well, and somebody came and grabbed it from them. This had to have been somebody that they already had in cahoots and called in and paged them and told them, yep, we're ready. We at the place we said we was gonna park. The whole entire thing, man, Sugeknight knew what was going on, because he was supposed to be on the way to his club. If he's going to his club and it's a straight shot down there, he should have ran through that red light so that he wouldn't get caught there. He's got Tupac sitting in the passenger seat. That's worth a lot of money. Like, you got to understand that everything that happened was getting caught at that light and everything. That's what one thing that made it to where Keefe D and them, they planned to set up exactly how it went, because they had him stopped at that light. they couldn't, and Tupac was the only one with the window down. The window wasn't down on Suge Knight's side, and Suge Knight took the U-turn after that. He got grazed and everything like that, but that still, you don't know exactly what they talked about. Maybe they was even going to take Suge Knight with him because they knew that he was in the car and that he could tell this or that and that. But the thing is that they were really targeting Tupac as the main person, and so they knew that they only had a certain amount of time. They couldn't just stand there and try to get Suge Knight too. This is why a lot of people who was behind Tupac started chasing after the dudes, because they started blowing back at them, and that's what even made Keefe D's driver take off and make that right. They almost hit that Chrysler Sebring. When they peeled that corner, they took that right and it fishtailed. They almost ran into them, but they kept going, and the dudes was following behind. But they were all like throwing things back and forth. They were blowing back and forth at each other. Ricochets was coming, spark